All right. Hey there. Hi there, Celeste and Kathy. How you doing
Hey,
today?
Jalinda. So good to see you today.
And I'm so
Awesome to be
excited to hear
here.
what you're going to tell us because let me just say that after the last week of Thanksgiving, I ate a whole bunch of stuff that even while I was eating it, I knew I should be making a different choice. But I did love and just totally enjoy my pecan pie. So that's
Oh, yeah.
my favorite one. So, and how are you, Kathy?
Fantastic. It's a beautiful day in Kansas City. I've had lots of meetings and I've got several more to go to, but I didn't want to miss Celeste and Delinda for sure. So it's great to be here.
Well, thanks for being here. And those that are not with us, they're going to be missing out on a lot. But we might just pass this on to the rest because it's going to be so great. And if Celeste, if I have your permission, I'll post it so others can be blessed by your talking to us and the tips you share. So I'm going to turn it right on over to you and just Phil, just take it away.
All right. Well, I wore my apron today. It's always hanging on my refrigerator because I love to cook. And so I'm always making something in our kitchen here in Mexico. Just a little bit about me. My name is Celeste Davis. For 15 years, it's been my pleasure to help women and their families improve their food, nourish their body, their soul, and their spirit so that their bodies are able to accomplish God's plans and purposes and their hopes and dreams. If our bodies aren't working correctly, then we can't live a full life. And food is the nourishment for our bodies. And this is important for us to realize because in the modern culture that we live in the Western world, food is more for pleasure, convenience, energy than it is for nourishment. So what is the definition of nourishment? You guys, what do you think? What does nourish mean?
I'm thinking, go ahead, Kathy.
For me, it would be giving your body a chance to kind of recover. Because I think in terms of nutrition, when I think of nourishment, and it's not going to be fast food that is nourishment, it's going to be healthy food, nutritious, that would be the nourishment. So that's kind of where I go with that, giving your body the fuel it needs rather than just eating something.
Okay. How about you, Delinda?
And yeah, I think so too. I would think when I think of that word, it's like the things that will build up my body from the inside and not tear it down. It's like I always think of herbal things because herbal teas and all that start building you and improving you from the inside. So if we eat nourishing foods, I feel like that's what they do as opposed to sugar laden foods.
Good, good. Those are both good explanations of what nourishment does. The definition of nourishment is to provide an environment that is optimal for growth. To provide an environment that is optimal for growth. That is the definition of nourishment. So if we nourish our bodies, we're providing an opportunity for our gifts and abilities, for God's plans and purposes, and for our hopes and dreams to grow. Nourishing our bodies. 1 Timothy 4 talks about in the last days, and it says in the last days, there will be people who will forbid certain foods. But it goes on to say that everything that God made is beneficial and is to be received with thanksgiving. So if we focus on nourishing our bodies with God-made foods, then we're going to provide an environment in our physical body so that our brain works right, our emotions work right, and our body is able to move and function and have the dexterity and the strength that it needs to do what we love and what God has planned for us to do. It's pretty amazing that God talked about that in his word, and it's so simple.
Yeah, that's great. What is that? 1 Timothy 4, what?
4, it's like 1 through 7. There's a whole passage there about that. And in, I'd say it was 2012, I believe, I was praying and asking the Lord, I wanted to write a course about how to help people to learn to eat healthy and without all the craziness. And I asked the Lord, okay, I've taught and lived gluten-free, vegan, vegetarian, no sugar, blah, 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 blah. What do you want me to teach? And he led me to that verse, teach people to make God-made food. So I call myself a God-made health mentor because God made health as body, soul, and spirit. But you can have a beautiful spirit. You can know the word of God. You can quote it to people. You can lead people to Jesus. But if your body is not healthy, you're not going to be at your optimal function. And you may be actually doing these things, pushing yourself rather than running with joy. I have a student who has a beautiful ministry worldwide to women, but she did not pay attention to her, to how to nourish her body with food. She was severely overweight, cancer 3 times, given a death sentence of 2 months to live. And finally, she reached out to me, and we have been friends for many years. And she said, I need to learn how to nourish my body so I can live, because I believe God wants me to live. And we're 3 or 4 weeks out of her diagnosis from her doctor. My dad, 85 years old, on insulin from age 40 to 85, ended up with gallbladder cancer, liver cancer, and 15 spots of cancer on his lungs. Said, I don't believe God wants me to die. I believe he wants me to live so that I can declare his works, as the Psalm says. And I need to learn to nourish my body. So he is on a very strict program, as is my lady with cancer. But my dad was given 6 months to live. His 6 months was up last December. And he's still thriving because he started nourishing his body. And you guys, this is especially important now because our immune system is what protects us from all of the things that are going around, right? And actually, the holiday foods tend to deplete your immune system and actually even restrict it. So let's talk about okay, Delinda, you mentioned pecan pie. Love pecan pie. Kathy, what would you say your favorite holiday food is?
I really can't think of anything. Turkey I love, but I wouldn't think that would necessarily be a bad thing. And it's always funny to me that I only make turkey 1 time a year, and you can have it anytime, and I love it. So I don't get that. As far as a dessert or a treat, pumpkin pie would probably be my go-to, although I like pecan as well. And then you think of the casseroles, corn casserole, green bean casserole, sweet potato casserole, all that stuff. And the things that you put in it, I look and I go, thank goodness this is only once a year.
Okay, so it is true that we can enjoy treats and not feel guilty about it. But when the whole month becomes days, 31 days of treats, right? November is 30 days of Thanksgiving, December is 31 days of treats, then that's when it becomes a problem. So I want to give you a few simple swaps that you can do for parties and events. And then I also want to give you a daily routine that can really help you to preserve your immune system. And then I will give you a list of things that are especially harmful during the holidays that maybe you just want to completely avoid and how to avoid them. So first of all, simple swaps. We have a lot of events. We have cookie swaps. We have potlucks. We have, appetizers and wine and alcohol parties that we go to. I don't know if they're having business parties, but they used to have big business parties. And I don't know if they're doing that this year, but because everything's changed. But everything's changed in a good way, because pretty much everyone is concerned about their health now, right? They're not even concerned like that they might get cancer. They're more concerned that they might get these other things that are going around, and how do I avoid that? So these simple swaps can help you avoid that. So if you're going to an event where you take food, how about taking fresh fruit? There's lots of beautiful fresh fruit out there. And if you go on Pinterest and type in fresh fruit holiday tray, they have some really fun ways that you can arrange your fruit to look like a Christmas tree or an angel or a star. And that can be fun as well as simple, because you're not, getting out your pots and pans. You're just getting a knife, and you are getting a cutting board and then some kind of a dish to put it in. That's a simple swap. A veggie tray. Guess what? You don't even have to make your own. You can buy one. but I do suggest that you make your own dressing. And we've got some recipes in that little recipe book. I've got recipes on my website that I can share for delicious ranch dressing that isn't full of chemicals, isn't full of preservatives. It's very simple. It takes you like 5 minutes. You have the ingredients in your home. Make your own dressing and then buy a veggie tray. Easy, 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 easy. Okay, what about taking a salad or something like that to a event instead of spending hours making a sweet potato casserole or what are they called? Au gratin potatoes or dressing. So here is my 3-minute salad recipe. First of all, look in your grocery store in the dressing section for an organic version of your favorite dressing. Maybe it's blue cheese, maybe it's vinaigrette. This works better with a vinaigrette, but it would work great with a blue cheese. And whatever your favorite, honey mustard, whatever your favorite organic dressing is, then go to the produce section. And in the produce section, they have bags of already cut up vegetables, right? Usually they're called stir fry veggies, and they'll have broccoli, carrots, cabbage, snow peas, that sort of thing in it. So depending on the size of your event, buy 1 or 2 of those bags. Just before you leave for the event, dump the bags in a pretty bowl, pour the dressing over, mix it up, put the lid on or cover it with saran wrap and take it with you. That's called a 3-minute marinated salad. And the marination and the time that you travel, and then it sits on the table for a little bit before it gets served, the dressings will marinate things like broccoli so that it has a cooked texture. That salad is especially good if you get like an Asian dressing, like a ginger garlic dressing or something like that, or even just a regular Italian, makes it really good. So take something with you that you know will be healthy, that you also like. You might want to try that at home first, because then you'll have something that you can eat that you know you will enjoy, and you can take a little bit of the other things and also share something good with your friends and your family.
Celeste, I want to ask you about fruit dip. I'm sure that there has to be healthy versions of that, but I have seen marshmallow fluff and all kinds of things go in it, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And that actually, sweet tooth is not my challenge, and so I've never really gone into how to create a fruit dip that's not going to be the worst thing possible to choose.
Okay, good question. So fruit dip, get some plain yogurt, and they actually have a lactose-free yogurt now. It's I can't remember. I have it here, so I'll post a picture of it. But it's in a blue container, and it's lactose-free yogurt, which will work for anyone who can't handle dairy products. So you use your yogurt, get some raw honey, raw unfiltered honey or agave nectar, the juice of a lemon, and how about some of those yummy poppy seeds? You can get poppy seeds. So you would go to the dairy section for your yogurt, to the produce section for your lemon, to the baking section for your poppy seeds, and also for your honey or agave nectar. And if you get agave nectar, just make sure that it's organic, because they do cut agave nectar with corn syrup, which isn't good for us. So make sure it's organic. That just, honestly, Kathy, it's a dump and taste. So like put a cup of yogurt in and squirt a little bit of everything in there, taste it and see what you think. A lot of times if it's not sweet enough, it just needs some salt. And so just add a little salt, because salt makes things sweeter and sweet makes things saltier. That's how God created our tongue to taste. Good question. And there's some fun fruits, star fruit, pineapple, and these things, you can get a cut up pineapple at the grocery store. We walk 2 blocks to our little patio market. We find by smelling the perfect pineapple. They break off the top, so we don't have to bring it home to our garbage. We come home, we soak it for 10 minutes in vinegar to make sure there's no bugs or bacteria on it. Then we cut it. It's quite an ordeal, but you guys, you can just go to the grocery store and buy one already cut up. So do that. Okay, so let's talk about baking. Most of us are conditioned, like Delinda, your pecan pie is made with usually corn syrup. If you're going to do something like that, look for an organic corn syrup, because all the other kinds of corn syrup are laced with Roundup. All corn products, unless they're organic and non-GMO, have been genetically modified with Roundup. The mechanical function of Roundup is to make cells explode. So let me say that again. The mechanical function of Roundup, the reason they developed it, is to make cells explode. This is why when you spray Roundup on a weed at night and you get up in the morning, it's dead, because all the cells exploded. So when they genetically modify a food, they take a virus. Okay, let's think about this. They take a virus and they put the DNA of Roundup in the virus, and then they put that cell of DNA into the corn. It's actually corn, beets, soy, and cotton. Those are the things that are mostly genetically modified. So anything that you buy with soy or corn, you want to be sure, or cottonseed oil, even when you choose out your organic dressing, look at what oils are on it and make sure it says non-GMO. Because if it makes a plant cell explode, why would it not make our cells explode? They also do this with wheat and potatoes. So I only eat organic potatoes, which is a challenge here. But the wheat is not a challenge here. When a field of wheat is planted, they want to be able to harvest it early to save money. So instead of cutting it like they did in the Bible days, putting it in sheaves and stacking it out on the field to let it to let the enzymes convert to where it's edible, they spray it with Roundup, and it looks like it's ripe wheat, but it's not ripe wheat naturally. It's actually dead wheat, and it turns brown because of the Roundup. So all of your non-organic wheat products, even though it's illegal to actually modify them, it's illegal internationally to genetically modify wheat, but they can spray it when it's ready to harvest, and then we get it that way because it soaks into the seed. The other thing with potatoes is potatoes also, the tops have to die before they can harvest. If you've ever seen a potato plant, the tops are beautiful and green, the potatoes grow down below, and then when the tops die, then they dig up the potatoes. In order to harvest the potatoes at an optimal time without having to wait all that time for the tops to die, they spray the field with Roundup. And you know, our potato is a root, right? And it takes some things from the leaves. So when the Roundup hits the leaves, then it's soaked into the potato plant. So you want to buy organic sweet potatoes and organic of any kind of potato. So those are some things to watch out for, but the question is what to do instead. So don't be all upset and worried about, oh my gosh, they're messing with our food, because we know they're messing with our food. Let's just see what we can do differently. So instead of using white sugar, which is mostly from beets, and remember, beets are genetically modified, instead of using white sugar, look for organic cane sugar. And if you look at all the sugars on the shelves of any grocery store, even Walmart, you will see an organically grown cane sugar. Choose that. That's the, okay, if we have better, good, better, best, that would be good, organic cane sugar. Better would be like a raw, unrefined sugar. And it'll say right on the packages, and best is something called Rapadura, which is basically the cane sugar dried and ground, and it looks like a coarse brown sugar. Now those things cook a little differently than say you're just white sugar that you've been using since you were born, but it's not that different, and it gives it a great flavor and a little different texture. You can also use honey in baking or pure maple syrup, but just be aware that if you want a cookie like the chocolate chip cookies we buy, what's the name of the cookie shop where we buy our cookies, chocolate chip cookies? Mrs. Fields, right?
There we
Mrs.
go,
Fields
yeah.
cookies. Okay.
Mhm.
And you know the texture, you bite into it, it's just like, oh, heaven. Okay, well, if you use honey, it's going to be dry. So you don't want to use honey in cookies or anything that you want that kind of chewy texture. That's where you use your Rapadura or your organic cane sugar. Just be aware of that. Honey would be good in breads. If you're making cinnamon rolls or something like that, you need a little honey. Pumpkin pie. I've actually made a really good pecan pie with agave nectar, and it was beautiful. So there's lots of great alternatives. If you're a Pinterest girl, get on Pinterest and say, how do I make my blah, blah, blah healthy? And you'll come up with lots of ideas. Okay, so those are some good swaps. The last swap is alcohol. So alcohol is really flowing freely during the holidays. We go to parties, everybody has alcohol. We have alcohol in our homes, but we know that alcohol is a depressive. And when you're eating sugar, you have a tendency towards depression. When you eat a lot of wheat products, you may have a tendency towards depression. And then alcohol is also suppressive. And we want the holidays to be joyful, not depressive, right? So we think, oh, I'm depressed, I need more alcohol so I can feel better, and maybe so I can sleep better. But alcohol is actually a stimulant as well. It's more of a stimulant than caffeine. This is why when people drink late at night, say you have a glass of wine before you go to bed, you might wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning because your liver is trying to deal with that alcohol and it can't do its processes. So it wakes you up, you go to the bathroom, sometimes you get into the hamster wheel thinking, you can't go back to sleep. So what's a good substitute for alcohol? Well, real juice is a great substitute. So if you're in a place where you can, like, sometimes even bars have real juice, fruit juices, try that. The main thing when you're with a group is having something in your hand, right? It's like everybody walks around with something in their hand and they sip a little bit and they talk and then they get a refill and they sip a little bit. So real juice is a great alternative because it energizes you. A simple alternative, if you're at a at a bar or a place where they have an open bar, is just ask the bartender for mineral water with lime. Put a lime in there, stick a maraschino cherry, have it in a martini glass. Nobody's going to bother you about, oh, aren't you drinking with us? Come on, you've got to be drinking. And you've got something in your hand you can sip on, right? A great alternative, especially if you're at home, is kombucha. Have you guys tried kombucha?
No.
No.
I
Delinda?
think I tried it once and I wasn't overly excited.
Okay, so kombucha is a probiotic drink. And I know you guys you're in Vegas, you're in Kansas City. I'm sure both of you have kombucha bars or health food stores with kombucha on tap. It is super healthy. It's like drinking a glass of kombucha is like taking a handful of probiotics. Probiotics are what help to boost your immune system. So if you drink just 4 ounces of kombucha every day, you're actually giving your body a boost to prevent you from all these crazy things that are going around, to protect you from all these things that are going around. So kombucha is spelled Kombucha. They even have it at Costco, but you will like it better, Delinda, if you find a place there. Whole Foods Market has it on tap in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Do you guys have a Whole Foods there, Kathy?
Absolutely.
If you're in Tennessee, Urban Market has it on tap. There's lots of places that have it on tap. Get on your little Google search and say, where can I find kombucha on tap? And you will like it if it's on tap. Some of it can be super vinegary, and that's probably what you didn't like.
Yeah,
Delinda.
I don't tolerate vinegar very well. I just I don't like it. It doesn't like me. So.
Yeah. So the second benefit of kombucha, besides the probiotics, And besides, I guess the third benefit, besides having something in your hand while others are drinking wine, is that it raises the acid in your stomach, so your body can absorb the fat soluble vitamins A, D, C, and E. If you don't have enough stomach acid, then your body can't absorb those vitamins. And we know how important vitamin D is. But if you have low stomach acid, or you're taking a bunch of antacid stomach medications and you're taking vitamin D, just take your vitamin D and dump 1 or 2 pills down the toilet every day and flush it, because you're not getting anything out of it.
Yeah.
So the kombucha can help raise that stomach acid. Apple cider vinegar drink can also help to raise your stomach acid. The other thing that a higher stomach acid does for you is it helps your liver and your gallbladder to produce bile. If you don't have a gallbladder, you need one of these two, because you're not producing bile. Bile helps to absorb those vitamins. It helps with your immunity. It helps to digest proteins. There's many wonderful things from bile that our gallbladder gives us. And if we don't have a gallbladder, we have apple cider vinegar or kombucha.
Question.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So I don't have a gallbladder.
Okay.
And so I just recently started taking the acid, whatever you said, the vinegar,
Apple cider vinegar.
apple cider vinegar, just gummies.
Yeah.
So does that help? Is that what you're, or do I have to drink it?
No, that does help. You can also get a supplement called betaine HCl, BETAINE HCl. And that is also something that will help to raise the stomach acid. And as we age, we have less and less stomach acid. So we need something to help us, even if we don't have a gallbladder. And Delinda, it's especially important for you because vitamin D is vital to bone health. And if you are not getting the vitamin D, either through the sun or through a supplement, and then you don't have the proper stomach acid to help you absorb it, then you're at great risk for osteoporosis or osteopenia. So it is important. I would make that betaine HCl. I personally take your apple cider vinegar pills every day, or your gummies, but also get the betaine HCl. I like the Doctor's brand. It's just called Doctor's brand, and they have it at Whole Foods. You can get it on Amazon. It's not very expensive. And every time you eat, take one of those.
Okay.
Which brings us to supplements that can help you through the holidays. Digestion is a big problem for a lot of people. When we are born, we have 100% of the digestive enzymes we're ever going to have in our pancreas. Our pancreas is what secretes digestive enzymes to help us digest fats, sugars, proteins, and fibers. I don't know if you have had friends who have had pancreatic cancer, but it is the most painful and deadly cancer that you can get, because every time you see, smell, taste, or think about food, your pancreas is activated. So think about someone with pancreatic cancer. How can you not see food on television? How can you not activate that? It's almost impossible, and it's very painful. So God gave us these digestive enzymes to digest food, and there are enzymes in raw foods. So anything that you eat, an apple, an orange, lettuce, a carrot, anything that is not cooked, that is raw, has the enzymes in it that your body needs to digest it. Isn't God amazing? And that's super important, because when a baby has all those digestive enzymes, they're not eating those raw foods, right? But as we age, we eat more and more different foods, and then we need help from our food for our digestion. Every decade, your digestive enzyme bank decreases by 13%. So I have 6 decades in my life. What would that be? 6 times 13 is
78.
So thank you, Kathy. 78. I have lost 78% of the digestive enzymes that I had when I was a baby. So it's super important for me, in order to maintain my health, to eat more raw foods. So let's say the things that help you to look young is your skin, right? Your vitality, your muscle strength, even your posture are things that help you to look like you're a young person. I'm 64 years old. I have no wrinkles on my face except for a few from smiles and maybe one from frowning. I don't take any medications. I don't take high blood pressure, high cholesterol, no medications. When I was 42, I had type 2 diabetes. I had irritable bowel syndrome, plantar fasciitis. I had eczema all over my hands. But now at 64, I don't have any of those things.
Yay.
And the reason is because every day I drink a raw vegetable juice, and every day I eat some form of raw foods. And those raw foods have the enzymes that help my body to digest all my food. You have any questions about that?
Wow, it's just so interesting. Like, wow.
So we can also help our bodies by taking a digestive enzyme supplement. And there's lots of them out there. I don't sell a digestive enzyme supplement, but if you look on Amazon, Pure Formulas is a good company. Life Extension is a good company. I shouldn't say I don't sell, because we do have AIM has a digestive enzyme that's excellent called Prepzymes. So digestive enzymes have all of the different types of enzymes and help your food to digest better. Many women have a condition called slow transit time. And that means that food just sits in their stomach and they feel bloated all the time. If they will take a digestive enzyme and either the betaine HCl or do kombucha or the raw apple cider vinegar, any of those will help with that slow transit time. Transit time is the amount of time it takes from food to enter your stomach, to be digested and absorbed, and to be eliminated through your bowels. So I've had women start with me whose transit time was 10 or 12 days. Your transit time should be about 12 hours. So we see over as they start doing these more raw foods, more fruits and vegetables, digestive enzymes, the betaine HCl, these drinks, as they start doing this, then their transit time starts going back until they become regular and they go to the bathroom 2 or 3 times a day, which is how it's supposed to be. One of my clients was the head of the pediatric division of a major teaching university. Okay, she was the head of this major teaching university pediatric division. She thought it was normal, because it had been her experience and she wasn't taught differently, to only go poo once a week. And she was miserable. And she saw lots of patients that were miserable. And she said, well, you know, you're okay if you go once a week. And so we started getting her transit time back to normal. And she was amazed. And she said, I think she had been teaching for like 20 years. I've been telling people the wrong information. So hopefully she's using that correctly now. Yeah. So digestive enzymes, apple cider vinegar, the betaine HCl, and the kombucha, those are all digestive assistants. And then the raw foods. So sometimes when people start eating raw foods, especially raw vegetables like greens, they have an upset stomach and they can't digest them. That's because they have low stomach acid. So the betaine HCl or the apple cider vinegar. I have an apple cider vinegar drink. We call it an ACV cocktail on my website, and I'll post that recipe there. The apple cider vinegar drink, the kombucha, those all help you to be able to digest these protein-rich vegetables. Did you know that a pound of broccoli has more protein than a pound of beef? A pound of broccoli has more protein than a pound of beef. So if your body isn't digesting proteins well and you start eating a lot of green vegetables and especially leafy greens, you may have more stomach upset. And so it's important to get those enzymes in to help your body to recover. So on that note, enzymes are like the construction crew of the food. So we're going to liken our body to a dream beach house. And ladies, I see so many dream beach houses in Mexico on the coast. gigantic with pools and on the ocean and, you know, the forever pool that you can look out and it looks like it goes right into the ocean. And that's what we want our bodies to be, right? We want our bodies to be strong and healthy and wow, and our minds to work correctly, even when we're old. So digestive enzymes are the construction crew of our food. Let me say that again. Digestive enzymes are the construction crew of our food. They take apart the proteins, the fats, the sugars, the carbohydrates, the fibers, and put them where they're supposed to be. Digestive enzymes are prevalent in all raw foods. So if it hasn't been cooked, it has tons of construction crew in it. When we cook the food, we kill the construction crew. So I have this beautiful beach property. I have all the nails and all the boards, and here the cement and the plaster and all the things that I need to build this magnificent beach house. And then the construction crew shows up and I push them all over into the ocean and they drown. Am I going to have my house? No. So when we cook our food, we destroy the construction crew. So making it through the holidays without gaining weight, which was what our topic was, is helping your food to digest easily so that it's absorbed, utilized, and eliminated. And then focusing on foods that energize rather than take away your energy. Focusing on foods that energize rather than taking away your energy. So foods that energize are foods that don't have to be heavily digested, because digestion takes all of the energy of your body. When you eat food that is hard to digest, all that energy goes to your stomach and to your digestive organs and away from your brain. That's why we get that brain crash in the afternoons when we eat things that rob us of energy. We don't want to be robbed of energy. We want to be fueled and have energy. So I want to put out a challenge that during the month of December, that you don't make it a month of treats. You make it a month of fellowship. First of all, focusing on fellowship rather than food. Instead of, oh my gosh, what am I going to take? It's, oh my gosh, who do I get to see? Who do I get to encourage? Who do I get to love on? Who do I get to be encouraged by? And then make it a month of energizing foods. So for breakfast, instead of pancakes and biscuits and cinnamon rolls and all of those things, which are fine treats, make it a month of raw fruits and raw fruit juices, raw veggie juices. Smoothies are easy, right? You got a blender, you throw some protein powder and some fruit in there, and you've got a smoothie. And the fruit, even if it's frozen, still has the enzymes in it, as long as it's not cooked. So frozen fruit is okay. So have a smoothie for breakfast or fresh juice. And I think almost everywhere in the United States, you can get a smoothie somewhere in your town, pretty much everywhere. Not just a smoothie that's a package of protein powder that you mix with milk, but something that actually has the raw fruits in it. And then for lunch, have some kind of a salad, that 3-minute salad. Or people in Tennessee love to go to Chick-fil-A and have their chicken salad. Or, there's a big salad, or there used to be a big salad bar in Vegas. It was huge. It was like tomato something. Anyway, you can find a good salad just about anywhere, and make sure that it's fresh. And then for dinner, do an alkaline plate. And I'll post that on the page too. I have a picture of an alkaline plate. The typical Western diet plate is a lot of meat and a lot of carbs and maybe a little nod to vegetables. But an alkaline plate would be 50% vegetables. So you could have a stir fry and then the other half be some kind of meat. If you want to add rice, then make it 25% meat and 25% carbohydrates with rice or pasta or something like that. But make sure that it's 50% vegetables. If you have a salad for lunch, have cooked vegetables for dinner. Easy. It's an easy way to think. And when you see that picture, you'll go, oh, I can do that easy. It's just thinking differently. But you guys, we've been thinking differently for the past year and a half, right? Why would we not want to think differently about fueling and nourishing our body to provide an environment for growth? So those are my tips and tricks. They're simple swaps. I have a little book that I'll also put up there called Simple Swaps. There's lots of great recipes in that booklet that you printed off, Delinda, and I've tried to make them easy. That particular booklet, let's see, not last year, but the year before COVID, and we had to start meeting online, all of my students picked one holiday favorite that they wanted to make healthy. And that was what that booklet is. So they're tried and tested by my students for my students. And we actually made them together at my house.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
And
Very
I
fun.
loved it that you said tested on picky eaters.
Yes. Yes, because they made these for their families at the holidays, you see. So
Yeah.
they were tested. And if you don't tell people it's healthy, this is so important. Don't say, it's healthy, do you like it? Because they'll go, oh, no, I don't like it. But if you just say, wow, this is one of my favorites, and that's it, you don't have to say anything else, then they'll go, oh, it's your favorite, let me try it. And if they don't like it, it's their loss if you like it, right? When you have salads, a lot of times we think it's just like lettuce, what is it? Lettuce, cucumber, maybe onion and tomato, right? Get a little creative and buy one of those bags of stir-fry veggies and make that stir-fry salad, that 3-minute salad that we talked about earlier. It's so easy. And then dump that on top of some spinach or some leafy greens or some romaine, whatever you like. Throw some beans on there, throw an avocado, dump some pico de gallo or salsa, get creative. Don't just do that salad that you get so sick of. And one thing that I found that makes salads just really pop is nuts. So sunflower seeds, those sliced almonds that you usually buy for your Christmas desserts, put those on your salad instead. Pecans, cashews, whatever you like, put them on your salad and it will make your salad pop. And it actually gives you a lot of beneficial proteins and fats. So those are my tips and tricks. I hope that you guys can incorporate one or two of them and that you will start thinking about nourishing your body, providing an environment for growth. Okay?
Ah, that is wonderful. Woo! Quick question. Where do eggs fit in your scheme of things?
So eggs are a protein.
Right.
Proteins are always cooked, so you can cook your eggs. You can put them raw in a smoothie too. 2 eggs has 14 grams of protein. So women our age should get about 65 grams of protein a day. If you eat lots of vegetables, you're going to get maybe 25 to 30. If you don't eat any vegetables, you're probably going to get about 25 to 30 from the meats that you eat. So let's say that you have a salad with half of a chicken breast on it. Your salad would give you about 10 grams of protein and your chicken breast would give you about 12. So that's about 22 to 24 grams of protein. Let's say you had a chef salad with eggs and some organic ham, hopefully. And what else do they put on chef salad? Turkey, I think. Is that right? Turkey.
Yes, turkey, ham.
Cheese, ham, yeah. So your meats are probably going to provide about 12 grams of protein and your salad's probably going to provide about 12 grams. But let's do the alkaline plate just for protein's sake. Half a chicken breast is 24 grams of protein. You have a cup of broccoli, a cup of cooked broccoli. I think that's about 7 to 10 grams of protein. So we'll just say 10 for the fun of it. So that's 35 grams of protein. And then you've got half of your protein for the day just in that meal right there with a chicken breast and a good amount of broccoli. So that's easy. Now, what we usually want to do is have our chicken breast and a big old mound of pasta, right? So 2 handfuls of pasta, which is what you get at, let's say, an Italian restaurant, is about 2 handfuls of pasta, have 156 grams of sugar. 156. That is, let me see. That is 44 tablespoons of sugar. It
Crazy.
converts to 44 tablespoons of sugar. 44, not teaspoons, tablespoons, right? Right. And it converts immediately, and your body doesn't know what to do with it, so it stores it as fat. So this whole Mediterranean diet thing has kind of messed people up because they think Mediterranean diet means lots of pasta. Actually, Mediterranean diet means lots of fish and seafood and a little bit of pasta. So I hope that answered your question. You asked about eggs, and I went clear into pasta, but yeah, eggs are okay.
Hey, that's okay. That's okay.
Eggs are
Yeah.
good.
So
They're
yeah, so I
healthy.
didn't know that about the 65. Usually I don't have any problem with protein. I love protein. And so that's a easy one for me to put in. Yeah, boy, lots of good things. I'm going to go try the kombucha. I promise I'll go try it.
Good.
My
Good.
son and his wife, they drink it all the time. It's part of their everyday normal thing.
Mhm.
And I think I just tried a bottle of some that they had brought in, but they do, that was when they were traveling, when they were here, but they, on a regular basis, they do fresh. And
Yeah.
that is there. So
Mhm.
I've already had that. And so I will definitely try that. And I love your phrase of December, a month of not treats, but fellowship. And
Mhm.
those of us, all of us who love to be out, and of course, when you're on Zoom calls, you're not really eating and fellowshipping.
Mhm.
But when we do get out, because I know we have several things coming up that are with other people, and that
Mhm.
always becomes a hard thing. Well, like this Friday is our Fun Fearless lunch at Maggiano's with lots of good stuff that don't probably fit in here too much.
That's
I
a diet place.
I bet you can find a good salad or some kind of a veggie pasta with a little bit of protein at Maggiano's.
Yeah, they have gluten-free pasta.
Mhm.
Devra, who I'm not sure if you know.
Yes, I do know
Yeah,
Deborah.
okay. And Kathy knows. So she always has me order for her the gluten-free, and so they do that. And one of the other gals, Terry, I don't know exactly if she's gluten-free or whatever, but they always bring her out, because they're very good at special needs if I let them know,
Mhm.
So they make her a big salad, and it has veggies on it, and a chicken breast, I think.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we have to order. Well, this is TMI. I have to order a set menu, but they can vary it for a few people, and that's what they do. So maybe next year I'll focus on healthier menu
places.
overall.
And speaking of menus and other people, when I ask people in classes, what's the hardest part about eating healthy? Everyone always says other people. Okay, but let's say this, let's not let other people's addictions determine our future. Let's not let other people's addictions determine our future. I'm going to say it one more time. Let's not let other people's addictions determine our future. People are addicted to salt, sugar, caffeine, alcohol, carbohydrates, and they get upset when we change. They do. I've had a client who had been on a trip with someone every year for decades. She changed and it ruined their trip because this other person was so upset with her for not doing, and she tried not to make a big deal about it. So, but that's an addiction. So don't let other people's addictions determine your future. So that's one thing. It's not about other people, it's about our choices. And second, when you are looking at a menu, you're used to looking at, oh, what sounds good today? But instead look at, what will nourish my body and give me energy today? What will nourish my body and give me energy today? It's just a different way of looking at things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to an event like yours, Delinda, where you have to choose the menu, you can usually ask for a vegetarian or a vegan plate. They usually offer that. Most hotel conference centers offer fish, chicken, beef, or vegetarian. So the vegetarian plate, I will tell you, is always custom made. It's always the best looking, the best tasting. It's always fresh. Everyone at the table will say, oh my gosh, I wish I would have gotten that. So the hotels always serve the vegetarian plate last. Just remember that if you order one and everyone's got their food and you're waiting, it's because it's special order. And the main reason they bring it last is because everyone would say, oh, I want that.
Oh,
Hotel trick I learned from one of my students. So we've covered a lot, and people can listen to this again and take notes and decide what they want to do, or they can ask questions on the site and I'll be happy to answer.
that is great. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for asking me. I love
This is
sharing.
awesome. Any thought from you, Kathy? Less little.
I took pages of notes here actually, which is the great news. And it really is, as soon as you called it substitution instead of restriction, it changes the soul, body, spirit mindset. And I think that's super important too.
Yeah, we don't say remove, we say replace.
Right.
Replace.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. Okay.
Well, you
I'm good.
ladies are awesome. You
Huh?
ladies are awesome. You're awesome. I love to talk with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And hey, our Wow Wednesday, what a great start. We'll be kicking back in here in January. And so we want to encourage y'all to listen to this. I took notes. I saw Kathy taking notes, as she said. Let's see what we can do about making some change in the month of December. We don't have to, here's my mindset. I always think, oh, well, I'll do that in January. No, let's do it in December so we feel better in January, right?
Amen. Amen.
All right. Love you guys. Thanks so much. I'm going to turn off the recording now, and everybody have a fabulous day.